All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week so far. Welcome to Wrestling with Reality. I am John, and of course, joining me, as always, is my partner, Mr. Richie Reardon. Richie, what's up, my man?
What's up, dude? Everything's going good today, man. Love to be here with you guys, and hope you guys enjoy the show tonight. This is a fun little series that we came up with, and it's Was It Really That Bad? Where we take a dive into kind of some of the old storylines and stuff like that, see if it was really that bad, if it holds up, if we feel better about it today than we did then. But I don't think this one's going to change our mind, dude, that we picked tonight. We picked a really good one, though.
Picked a fucking doozy. I saw it being covered a lot this week by people because it's around that time of the year, you know, for Slamboree. And I don't ever remember watching this pay-per-view really other than clips. So we're going to watch the final match from WCW Slamboree 2000. Yes, we're hitting WCW 2000. You know it's going to be a shit show if it's that time frame. So,
dude, I watched religiously during this time frame. I remember all the downs as a kid, how bad this stuff really was, you know? And so I think at this time, you know, we were shocked to see that WCW was trying, well, we weren't really shocked, I guess you could say, but they were pulling out all the stops and getting anybody they could to get any kind of rub from Hollywood or wherever, any athlete, anybody. And they brought in somebody, you know, that a lot of people blame for the death of WCW, which is none other than, of course, David Arquette.
David Arquette, man. David Arquette, Jeff Jarrett.
We haven't talked about him a lot on the show, dude.
I don't think we've ever talked about him more than maybe 5 minutes or so when we watched one of his documentaries a couple years ago.
Maybe do a joke here and there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think we've ever covered this era in all the years we've been doing the show. Like, we really never touch on this time frame too much. So... yeah. I don't remember this show other than like what I've seen on YouTube through the years. I don't think I got it, you know, and watched it live as a kid and, you know, anything like that. I'd have been 18 years old here, so I don't remember watching this on pay-per-view. WCW in 2000 was an absolute fucking train wreck. And
yeah, I definitely watched it this time frame religiously. You know, the Triple Cage match was something that was pretty intriguing, man, and it was something that got people excited and talking. Didn't know how bad of a failure it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And my God, when you talk about the bump that Chris Kanyon took from that Triple Cage, man, it was a nutty fall. It made Mankind look like child's play. So,
not to mention like the irony of what they did in this arena a year before Owen Hart had passed away in the Kemper Arena, right. And here they are. And earlier in the show, they had Sting rappelling down from the top. You know,
a little distasteful. For sure.
You think, you know, like probably not a really good idea. You know, we'll talk about that when we get into this match a little bit, but you know, it's some interesting.
Was this the pay-per-view that Vampiro was against Sting with the Inferno match?
Yep. This was the pay-per-view. So I do remember that.
We did do a review on that earlier this year.
Yeah, we watched that match, but and that was a fucking train wreck too.
Dude, this whole pay-per-view is full of that shit.
This is an interesting era, so let's get to the comments real fast. Lawrence is here. He says,
"Hey, mate, from Brisbane,
Queensland, Australia. Blackjack, good to see you." Paul says, "Evening, folks. There's so much content to go over with this topic. Exciting. Thank you, Paul. Great to see you out as well, my friend." Rewind is here. Say his name and he will appear. Here he is. Courtney Cox, his husband, was a hell of a wrestler, if memory serves me right. He carried that match.
And that movie.
Were you a fan of the Ready to Rumble movie?
Dude, I love it. It's one of the fun ones to go back and watch, whether you hated it at the time or not. It's still a fun one to go watch. It gives you that 90s wrestling vibe, you know. So, yeah.
Have you and I ever done it?
You and I have never done it. You and Chris were always the ones that would do it, and you and Rob did it one time. You and I have never done it.
Okay, maybe we have to do this one again. I know me and Chris did it a couple years ago, and, like, I know me and Rob did, I think, what was it? No Holds Barred or something. I think I did that with Chris too, but I'm always down to watch a little Ready to Rumble. So maybe we'll have to do that in a couple weeks. We'll watch it. It's only an hour and a half, so it's not like it's a long show. And it is so cheesy and just.
Well, what we should do is we should get a round table of guys on here and watch.
Absolutely, everybody can watch it.
Yeah. We'll get some snacks, maybe some adult beverages, whatever, and we'll watch Ready to Rumble.
Why not, man? We'll definitely do that over the coming weeks, man. I'm all for that one. It's one of those ones I can go to every few years and watch it and get a good laugh out of it. It's so corny and stupid. It's fun.
It is, man. But you know what? There was some good moments in that movie that made you. I mean, dude, Goldberg's in it.
Bandini want to wrestle.
Sal Bandini, yeah, dude. Such a classic movie. If you don't like that, man, I don't know.
It's
totally a great movie for our group to watch.
Yeah, they had Ralphie from The Sopranos in there, and the guy, who's the guy who plays the captain in the Bad Boys movies, Joe Pantaleone or something like that.
Right.
He's in that one as like the Eric Bischoff like character. I love the one scene where he's like talking to Sting, and he's like, if you don't do this, I will be taking your life. Basically, he's like he's the fucking Godfather. He's gonna put a hit on Sting if he doesn't do the job to DDP in it.
Right.
It's so bad, bro.
And then Macho Man in it and everything.
They send the hit squad out to get Sal Bandini because he's training Jimmy King.
Pretty funny
Jimmy
stuff.
King, give me another beer.
Right.
Manuel Beltran. Hey, Manuel says the match wasn't that bad. The fact that Arquette was champion was dumb, but the rest was all right. All right, we're going to discuss it in just a little bit.
I respect your opinion, man.
There's a lot of mixed feelings on that. A lot of people will argue that it wasn't a bad idea, and I can see both sides of it. So I'm not shutting down either. We'll talk about it before we.
If we're gonna choose, I would rather have a guy like Karl Malone, an NBA champion, an actual athlete, be a WCW champion. If we're gonna give one of those guys that appeared on WCW television a title, but I don't know about David Arquette.
Loran says WCW 2000 wasn't too bad. People focus on the negatives over the positives a lot, but I felt they were doing all right, but less stale. They just couldn't find the right recipe to become great as they were in their success. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, they didn't have a game plan after the NWO. They had hit it so big, I feel like, with the NWO storyline. They didn't have an exit strategy to that, and they were living off of it.
There was no continuity in anything that they were doing. They were flip-flopping bookers, and people can.
It's totally prime AEW today.
People can put the blame on certain people all they want, say Russo and all that bullshit, man. He got sent home after a couple months of successful ratings. You can go back and look at it. I'm not saying his booking was great all the time, but I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to say he was trying to throw shit up against the wall in a dysfunctional place and to see what was going to stick. And then
collectively, it was everybody. If you want to see who killed WCW, it was everybody in WCW.
Yeah, you can't flip the bookers every 3 months on these guys and then blame the people in charge. You can't put that on
Kevin
Vince.
Sullivan to Kevin Nash to Vince Russo to Eric Bischoff to Kevin Nash to
it just doesn't work, No. It's like if you see a company's in disarray, you can see this in any business. You'll know a business is in disarray when all of the leaders are getting rotated in and out every few months or every 6 months, or there's constantly evolutions and change, on how
and the reason why WWE didn't go the way of WCW is they always had that one vision, that one head of the table that always saw, 10 miles down the road, and that was Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So,
and people telling them, stay the course, because if you stay the course and we do this, the continuity is what we're doing is gonna win over, and it's gonna bring the people back, and it's just WCW was destined for failure because of that. But we'll come back to that in just a minute. We got to talk about a death in wrestling this weekend. Sabu passed away. Another legend gone, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, Sabu, one of my favorites of all time in ECW. Legend of extreme wrestling. Pioneer for sure. Love Sabu, man. Love the stuff that he did with Rob Van Dam. You could go down the list of that guy, and he's going to be greatly missed. One of his entrance song is one of my favorite entrance songs of all time. Sabu's the man, and I'm not going to say that I support this guy. I really don't like Joey Janela, but I do think that it's ridiculous that the hate that he's kind of getting for this. They're saying basically that he killed. They're basically saying that he killed fucking Sabu, and a lot of wrestling fans are going at him. Sabu's a grown-ass man, and he participated in the match, and what he passed away from is a genetic defect that his family has had for generations. So you can't blame Joey Janela. You goofs out there that are saying that, just knock the shit off. I don't like the guy. You know as well as I do.
He's a scumbag.
Me and him had a war on fucking on Twitter. I know you remember that.
Yes, I do.
But
he's a scumbag.
But Joey Janela doesn't deserve the hate he's getting, and saying that he killed Sabu. I mean, come on. So
bullshit,
rest in peace, Sabu. Legendary career. His stuff will live on forever.
I'm reading the thing about him now, and I'm looking at it, and I see that Sabu he said he was very loaded up on kratom.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess kratom is like a synthetic opiate. or something?
It is. People are using it to get off of opiates,
Okay.
kratom, and it causes a euphoric effect, much like opiates do, without the addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a gas station heroin is what they call it.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah,
man, that's
so,
terrible.
yeah.
I always loved the guy, man. Like, I'm not saying I'm the biggest Sabu fan of all time or anything like that, but I always loved his matches. He always creeped me out a little bit in ECW, you know, like that was his
The spike
character.
in his teeth and shit, and
Yeah, and you saw
Sabu
his
is the
body,
man,
how
man.
mangled it was. I remember
Yeah.
seeing him in early WCW, I think, when they brought him in, maybe like 96 he was there for a few months. And I remember him in a match against, I think it was like Mr. JL, which was Jerry Lynn.
Yep.
And I loved it. And I saw he had a very short run there, and I would love watching him just dive through the fucking tables at people in that hardcore style, because I had watched ECW and I'd seen a little bit of it, but I wasn't really familiar with his ECW stuff, if that makes sense too. I'm like,
Yeah.
I knew him from there, but I started loving him in WCW in that short time that he was there. It was really cool, like, to see him. And he didn't last and went back and, you know, had his demons, but he had a hell of a career, man. He was a tough son of a bitch.
When they were going to revive ECW and WWE, a lot of people don't realize Vince had handpicked him to be kind of the face of that. And, you know, he did a program with John Cena. I don't know if people remember that. He did and it was supposed to turn him into, and what happened is, in the back, from what I understand, is Sabu and Vince McMahon were talking about a bump and putting John Cena through a table. And Vince said, you know, I busted my ass on that table. And he goes, well, yeah, it's you. That's why you did that. And so Vince kind of killed his push after that because he got offended. He also called him. He's like, I'll make you the next Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold Steve Austin of ECW. And Sabu, I guess, told Vince McMahon, you know, why the fuck would I want to be that kind of thing? I want to be Sabu. So they bumped heads, and that's why the push got killed, unfortunately. But
he was always in his own world, it seemed. I watched the Dark Side of the Ring with him a little bit on it last night with the Sheik, his uncle, and it wasn't the greatest Dark Side of the Ring, but it was a little interesting to kind of see, you know, about the Sheik and where he was brought up and just how serious the business was taken in his family. And, you know, you saw a guy that loved it. And let's be real, the guy has been kind of a carny through the years with no-showing people a lot, and people had kind of some issues with him. Yeah, he had a lot of issues with that through the years.
drugs and alcohol. That really plugged him.
People loved him so much that they overlooked it often. It was like Just Incredible gets massive heat for it because he just does it all the time. Sabu could do it off and on too, and people wouldn't be offended by it because he was such a beloved character to people, you know. Like, you know, he makes mistakes. He's not trying to be, you know, tell you he's perfect or anything. He is out for himself on some stuff, but, you know, it's Sabu. He's a nice guy. Like, he's going to be there when he works.
His body through. And what was that?
Oh, man.
30-something years? Was it 30-something years or 40 years he was in the business?
Yeah. He was in it a long time, man.
Yeah.
He retired when he was, like, I think his retirement match a few weeks ago was when he was 60.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's probably been in the business for close to 40 years off and on.
Yeah.
So he didn't take it light on himself.
No, he didn't. And
I mean, I heard the one story where he tore his bicep muscle and
he glued it back together.
Yeah. He got it caught on barbed wire and it tore through the muscle in his bicep or his tricep or something like that. And the guy literally super glued the fucking thing and taped it up and finished the match, you know?
Yep, he sure did. And it wasn't just that, dude. This last match, he got knocked out in one of the bumps that he took. And what woke him up was Sandman coming out.
The irony of that, right?
Dude, crazy.
Sandman's music. Let's see. Let me get to a couple comments. What's up, Sean? I saw Sean's there. He goes, Taz versus Sabu, barely legal 97 was ECW's first pay-per-view. That card was beside around them. Yeah, they were a tag team at one point too. And I saw Sabu Alex Wright on Nitro. Good match. All right. He nearly returned to WCW, but Paul had that up through a lawsuit. Interesting. Rand, what's going on? He wrestled in all companies. Rand? Yeah, he wrestled everywhere. I mean, the guy literally was at every single spot at some point.
I'd like to do a watch along of Sabu, a match of Sabu soon.
Sure, we can do that anytime you want, man.
Yeah. That Taz match that Rewind brought up sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm all down for it, 100%. Him and Taz did a great, video on him this past weekend about what he meant to his career and everything like that. You don't see a lot of people saying a bad word about Sabu. Like I said, people really seemed to be a very beloved character to a lot of people. And the very quiet guy, very stoic guy, from what I've seen, but they don't make him like that anymore. That's for sure.
No, he'll be missed for sure.
Sabu versus Terry Funk, he ripped his biceps at the end of the match. They had cut him apart. They were both tangled up in the barbed wire. Yeah. They showed on the dark side of the ring one of the matches that the Sheik booked him in Japan. It was that fire match, the Inferno match, and they nearly died in the middle of the ring. Like the fucking ring caught on fire because of the wind in the stadium that they were at. And, Sabu and his uncle, I think his uncle, the Sheik, was his partner or something in it. They almost didn't get out of it because they were fighting through the whole thing. And the Sheik got 3rd-degree burns on him from it, on 20% of his body. Like,
could you imagine?
Like Sabu and I think it was Sabu and I forget who was in the ring with them. But Onita was in it, too. And what a hardcore fucking guy Onita was, you know. Onita and Sheik were on the outside and Sabu was in the ring with somebody and they were literally getting like just the smoke cloud was almost killed them.
Onita was the Michael Jordan of the death match.
Oh my God, yeah. How much money he made in Japan doing it. Insane. He was one of the 2 Grand Slam champs in ECW. Yeah.
That's what's sad about Sabu though, is he never got that financial freedom that the other wrestlers did, He had to keep going for as long as he did. And then of course his partner that he was with, the Genie, she passed away a couple years back from alcoholism and different things like that. So
she had lost her leg or something like that, I think, right?
Too. Yeah, it was just a bunch of health issues that she had. She passed away, and that was kind of his manager that took care of everything and stuff like that. So unfortunately, both of them are gone now.
Yeah, it's just sad to see, man. It's sad to see the legends go like that, and his legacy will live on forever, man. That's for sure.
How old was he? He was 60
years old.
60 years old, okay.
Yeah, 60 years old. So there was still a lot of life left to live. Lawrence had mentioned it earlier, kind of being similar to the character of Mickey Rourke and the wrestler, dying in the ring and everything like that. He basically did, like just a few weeks ago, he's having his final match at 60 years old. And pretty powerful to think.
Yep.
Yeah, versus Hayabusa. I've actually, I think, seen that match a couple of times, Lawrence. I'll have to find that. It's a good one. FMW was a crazy fucking promotion. You remember FMW in Japan, right?
I do. Yeah, that shit was insane.
Those were like the ones you would tape trade when you'd see people when they would tape trade if they were like real hardcore wrestling fans.
Days, dude.
Yeah, where they had the FMW stuff from Japan, or you'd get something from Mexico once in a while. It'd be, the kids don't understand now because everything's on YouTube. You can find anything you want, but you'd see those matches, and I would be just enamored with it. When I'd watch those hardcore matches, the death matches when they would do them when I was younger. It was that's why I loved ECW. It was like the train wreck that you'd love to watch.
Oh, sure, man. And it was the rogue element of that show. You never knew what was going to happen. I don't even think they had an idea of what was going to happen from night to night. I know New Jack certainly didn't. He would talk about it, and they had no plans, no nothing. It was just go out there and put on a show, So ECW was great.
Yeah, it was a good time. Well, happy almost birthday, Lawrence. Well, definitely you're almost there.
June
happy
12th.
Birthday, Blackjack.
About 39. A month away, yeah.
39, crazy. Man. You're nearing up on that 40.
Yep. It's all downhill from there, bud.
Oh, you got a ways to go. You're still a baby.
Yeah, I got 6 years.
You're still a youngin', man.
6 years, man.
You're still a youngin'. Saw some other tragic news today. Hold on, let me pop this up. This just bothered me when I saw this.
What, today. Natty Neidhart's going to
Fuck
NWA?
Fuck her. So this was reported by Wrestling World CC, and our friend Dominic Mysterio wrote, it was in an interview that he did recently. He says he was paid $5,000 for his part in WWE when he was younger. And he claimed after one visit to Toys R Us and spending a total of $400, his parents informed him that he had nothing left. Can you believe the scumbag that is Rey Mysterio?
Mysterio is just a deadbeat, man.
Bro, I'm telling you, when I saw that today, when somebody sent that to me, I know how much you love Dirty Dom too. Yeah. This kid has come so far in life. He comes from the prison yards.
I think he's owed child support, dude. That's fucked up.
Can you believe they take his Toys R Us money from him?
Dude.
Just awful.
Dirty Dom's the man. If he doesn't get a title run this year, I don't know. I just don't know.
You better. Did you watch Backlash?
Yes, I was going to talk to you about that. I was super happy with R-Truth getting involved. I thought it was genius. And I would love for R-Truth to win the heavyweight champion or the WWE championship. I think it would be great.
I would too. I'll give you that. Do you think
over Dirty Dom even? I would want R-Truth to win.
Seriously. He deserves it, man.
R-Truth is fucking hilarious.
Pull off the upset of the decade.
Have you seen the picture of R-Truth with Tupac Shakur?
No, I have not.
Please, but for everybody, I want your facial reaction when you see this beautiful picture of R-Truth. Please Google it. Please Google it.
R-Truth and Tupac.
Everybody in the chat, Google R-Truth and Tupac. It is a sight to see. A young Ron the Truth Killings.
It's the first thing that pops up on Google too.
With Tupac Shakur. Isn't that great?
Dude? That is tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching it today. He's got one with Eazy-E too. It's pretty funny, but yeah.
It's tremendous.
Ron the Truth with the blonde hair cut into it.
Oh gosh.
Pretty funny.
Let's see. Rand says R-Truth versus John Cena, last date in Boston, table match, be the way to do it.
Yep.
Sean says I've seen it. I know you wouldn't mind doing that with her, Rand. I know that you wouldn't mind that with Natty. He also met Eazy-E that night too. Rewind.
Yep.
That's cool as hell. I mean, truth. If there's anybody that deserves it, it's R-Truth.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a short time.
For a night. Even for 5 minutes and somebody
he deserves it. And you're not going to soil Cena's last run by having
David Arquette can be the fucking WCW champion.
R-Truth can have a quick run.
A title run. Yeah.
He's taking him on at the, what is it? The one coming up, the Saturday Night's main event. So he's going to take him on at the Saturday Night's main event. And they set it up here. R-Truth came in to help him out when Randy was going to punt kick him.
I have not laughed at a WWE post conference so hard in my life than when he came out and John Cena goes, Ron.
If you do that again.
I tell you, yeah, dude, I was dying laughing. Ron.
Yeah, I think they made it official already for it. Rewind. I think they did. So I would be all for it, man. You put the belt right back on John. Give
him 5 seconds with it.
Give him a couple weeks. It's going to be a shocking moment that's going to make the news. I guarantee you, if that happens, it'll be one of the most downloaded clips on YouTube, and they'll get fucking billions of views for it or whatever.
Absolutely. And the thing of it is you could do it like how they did it with Jericho when he beat Triple H that one time, and then they reversed it immediately on Raw. You could do that, and you could get away with it.
R-Truth wins it and gives it to little Jimmy.
That would be great.
Ron has been around forever, and people just don't realize this. He's been employed by WWE since the early 90s when he was K-Quick.
Well, WWE, then he went to that TNA where he was,
he had a good run as the Truth.
And you know what? The Asylum years, his heel stuff in the Asylum years was great. He
was a champ over there. He was a world champ, as mentioned.
NWA champ, yeah. NWA champ.
He was a big figure over there, and then he came over, I think, to WWE maybe 2006, 2007-ish, and he has been there since. And imagine surviving all these years and all the cuts, that have gone on through there. R-Truth must be a beloved figure in the back. 100%. Vince
McMahon and him are very close friends. Yeah.
What I would give to be a fly on the wall with those conversations.
Right.
I'd love the idea, even if it's really, really quick.
Well, you look at all the comedic gimmicks that have happened over the years, and none of them have lasted to the tenure of him. So
no, not at all. Not at all. Randy hitting him with the RKO was all. I love Randy Orton too.
Dude, he's amazing, and I thought it was kind of cheesy the way they did that. Randy Orton would have saw a low blow like that, kayfabe, from a mile away. So the way they ended the match was kind of shitty to me. But I thought they should have done it by a disqualification. That's just my opinion. So
he might very well still be the 24/7 champ.
7-11. Yeah.
I-95. He's like a 39-time champion now or something like that at this juncture. So he's been doing quite well with it. So
sure.
Yeah, I love the dude. Backlash as a whole, I didn't watch every minute of it or anything like that. To be honest, if the Mets are on 95% of the time, I'll be watching the Mets over anything else. And the Mets were on that night. It's all right. We kicked you guys' ass last week, so we kicked you. Well, number one record in baseball. Just going to throw that out there, even though we lost tonight. So, just going to throw that out there. We're having a good season. But if the Mets are on, I'm usually not watching anything else. But the game was really boring me on Saturday, so I was flipping on and off when I was working and watching some of the Backlash one. It was just predictable to me for the most part, and you knew what was going to happen. Backlash is always a predictable one where you can pretty much guess what's going to happen. I mean, they brought Jeff Cobb in, so
I'll tell you one of the matches that impressed me that I thought was just going to stink out the show.
Becky versus Lyra?
No, it was Pat McAfee versus Gunther.
Okay, interesting.
I really thought, I didn't know how they were going to pull that off. I'm not saying that Gunther isn't great. You know me. I didn't like Gunther at first when you and I first started podcasting again. I didn't understand him. I didn't get it. I didn't get the ring general shit. Now I can't get enough of the fucking guy. And I can admit when I'm wrong. And I was definitely wrong about fucking Gunther. He's amazing. But the match that they had, I thought Gunther was going to lose for a minute. I really did. When Michael Cole held his legs down, I thought that was it. We suspected that Goldberg was going to come in and do the spear and the jackhammer gimmick, and it didn't happen. So,
it wasn't bad at all. It was predictable to me what was going to happen. I thought Goldberg was going to happen though, but I knew if Goldberg wasn't coming in, that there's no way that they're going to have Gunther lose to him. I thought they sold a really good story in the match, and I thought they told it very well. And I liked Michael Cole's inclusion. And when
it was kind of drawn out in some parts.
It was, but it was fun. There was a lot of good energy to the match. I thought they did a really nice job.
There were some believable moments where you thought Pat McAfee was going to win.
Yeah, Pat, you got to give Pat credit. He might be a chode, but he can go, man. I give him. He's a good athlete. He gets the crowd energized.
My dad bought ass wouldn't have got in and done any better. So good for him.
Seriously. So God bless him. It was pretty good. The one match that surprised me, because I'm not a fan of either of these girls, I thought the Becky and Lyra match was pretty good, man. They told a really good story in the match. Yeah. I still think Lyra Valkyria is the next evolution of Natty Neidhart in regards to a charisma vacuum.
What is with the fucking feathers? Wings, bro?
It's so stupid.
What the fuck is that?
So
shit?
Fucking dumb. I
hope that they can that shit in a hurry.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then what is the fucking woo? What is that shit?
I don't watch enough to know. I don't get it. I think she's a charisma vacuum in regards to just her personality.
Fucking hell.
Great working in this match between these two girls, and I was a little surprised at the ending too, that I thought they would have Bayley come out maybe, or have Becky win this one. And
I was surprised Becky didn't win. I thought that was the one title that they wanted to put on her to give some relevance, and I called this one wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of predictable, but there was also a couple things like this that I just didn't expect. But they put on a really good match. It was entertaining from what I watched.
Sure.
Jacob Fatu, just still a beast. This guy, if he ain't a world champion this year and the next year, I don't know what to say. The sky is the limit for this dude. And the crazy thing is,
walk away from these two idiots that they had in there.
Yeah, Solo and then the Jeff Cobb guy.
Jeff Cobb guy.
He's from New Japan, and he did a little work in Ring of Honor and AEW.
Looks like he's hanging out at Burger King too.
Yeah, he's one of these internet darlings. He was I think he was like an Olympic wrestler or something like that years ago. And he's another one. He's in his 40s and never made it over in the big time. So he'll be Solo 2.0. Just another Solo Sikoa that will beat people up a little bit and then never win the big match. And
I just want to see Fatu destroy Solo and literally put him into NXT. That'd be great.
Just send him away so we'll never see him again. Send him to AEW. Fucking super kick him to AEW, please.
Yep.
Jacob Fatu is money. And the crazy thing is, this guy should be just this vicious heel that people hate.
I love that he comes out with the fucking belt around his head.
Yeah. And I love that they push this guy down our throat as this, heel killer, and the fans just will not accept it because they love what this guy's doing.
Yep.
And he is so over as a babyface right now. They really need to strap a rocket to this guy real soon.
Yeah.
You know, if they're going to run with Seth Rollins kicking everybody's ass for the next year, or John Cena or somebody like that, and, maybe The Rock comes back in and helps them take over. If they're looking for somebody to get behind as the next babyface, to me, look at Jacob Fatu, this guy's got, if he can stay healthy, this guy's the limit for him.
How do you feel about Seth Rollins being placed in the spot he is again? He's going to be obviously a champion again.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a leader of whatever fucking goofy ass faction that they're putting around him. Dude, how many the same song and dance can we see with this guy?
Ask me if I watch Raw.
Did you watch Raw?
Fuck no, because Seth Rollins is the main focus. I have no interest in it if Seth Rollins is the main focus.
They call him Monday Night Rollins for a reason.
Oh, fuck no. No. I don't want to watch it for that reason. They don't have enough people on there with him and Jey Uso.
What the fuck was he wearing with those glasses with the eyeballs on it? Did you see that shit?
Weird creep, man.
Oh my god, what a goofball.
I know it's his gimmick and shit, but I just don't get into it.
And then they bring in Sami Zayn. I know this was prior to that, but they bring in Sami Zayn, and like it's just this whole weird storyline. I don't get it, dude. I don't.
Is Valkyria meant to be the Black Swan? Maybe WWE should give her the gimmick, freshening her up with a split personality between the white and the black as a character. I don't know. I don't know what the Black Swan and White Swan.
I just want them to take the feathers off of her, to be honest with you.
Seth Wanker Rollins. Dude, that was dope as fuck when he came out with the belt around his neck. Yeah. It adds a different element to him, right?
It does. It does.
No, I can't get behind Rollins as the focal point and somebody that you want to see week after week. Like
they've done it over and over again. It's never fucking worked.
You know, even the stuff with Cena for the most part right now isn't doing it for me.
I love the shit he's doing.
I know you do.
You know I'm not a fan of Cena, dude. But the shit that he's doing, I love it.
It's not doing it for me. You know, it just isn't.
They said he got really emotional and shit. And when he was leaving the pay-per-view Backlash, I don't know if it was emotional as much as he's playing into the character of what he's like. In my opinion, it was like I've become what I've fought against for so long, kind of thing. He was trying to be an actor, you know.
Yeah.
Let's face it, he's going to Hollywood after this.
Oh, he's already in Hollywood right now, making bank and being in big movies, man. I mean, the guy was in so many fucking movies. He was in the last Fast and the Furious. Yeah. I mean, he was in a couple of them, you know.
Ricky Stenicki.
Yeah, dude, the Nicky Stenicki shit was hilarious.
That shit was funny.
He's got a new one coming out too that looks funny. So he's not bad at all in the movies, man. No. He's doing real well for himself. I mean, so. He's going there. Peacemaker is a great series, hilarious.
Never seen it.
You never seen it? Mm-mm. Oh, you got to watch it. It's on HBO Max. You got to check it out, bro. It's so worth it. He's so fucking funny in it and the role. And a few years after it debuted, finally the second season's coming out this summer. So
nice.
Yeah, he's great in it. So he's there career wise. I just haven't been that into it, man. You know,
it sucks.
Yeah,
this is going to be the last time with him. So
yeah, I've been checking the clips out and stuff, but I just haven't.
What do you want to see with his career? I mean, where do you want to see him wrap up? Do you want to see him go back to a babyface at the end, realize he's been a douchebag? How do you want them to tell the story?
I want him to get his redemption at the end and come back and realize what he was doing, you know, and them telling a story with that. I want them all to turn on him, and then you see Super Cena one last time. That's what I think is going to happen.
Who would you put in his retirement match?
Cody Rhodes. Yep, I want him against Cody Rhodes for one last time, but I want Cody Rhodes as a heel if you're going to do it.
Yeah, I want him and Punk to be the retirement match.
That could be a good one too. I think Cody Rhodes to me would be a fun one. It would be a great way to sum it up and give Cody the belt back if that's the route that they want to go. But you got to have Cody Rhodes as the heel in this and with The Rock and align with him.
I don't want to see Cody Rhodes as a babyface champion again. I want to see him as the corporate fucking asshole.
Let him be The Rock's fucking errand boy, basically.
I want him to be what The Rock was when The Rock was the corporate champion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Rock is the modern day Vince McMahon running his modern day type of corporation.
That's what I want.
Yeah, just in a different way. Cody doesn't need anybody to talk on the mic for him. He doesn't. No. If The Rock's not there, it doesn't take away from it. But if The Rock comes and is a part of it, it's even better. You can tell us a million stories why John turned with The Rock and it being an elaborate setup, to get him back because of The Rock and John's history and all this other shit and how he played him. There's so much you can do with this. And then the best way to go out for Cena is to fight the odds again against Rock's Corporation and then just almost get that belt back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it back at the end.
Right.
Super Cena doesn't win the last time, but he goes out in a blaze of fucking glory
on his shield.
Yeah, that's the way it should be to me,
dude. And just foretelling, I'm just saying this. I'm super fucking happy because how big of a fan I am of this guy. Aleister Black is finally back in the WWE,
yeah, it's
where
good
he
to see.
Fucking belongs, dude. I know Triple H is going to do him right. He's going to be a future heavyweight champion. I guarantee it.
He's got one of the coolest entrances ever in theme songs.
Coolest entrance, coolest fucking everything. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a badass.
Dude, that fucking entrance in that song that he comes out to, just when it hits,
yeah, and then he raises up the way he does.
Oh, dude. It's so fucking awesome. A fan got a video of it and put it up online about how they get him a line for it, and you see him running out right before his first entrance when he came back, and then you just see this fan's got the video of the up close of it. It's just such a cool entrance to see live.
If you can't make that guy over with all of that element that he has, like you're doing something fucking wrong. Like,
what do you think is the reason he's never had the world title put on him, whether it was AEW or WWE before? Because he had a hell of a run in NXT.
When it was Vince McMahon, it was a size thing. I think that Vince McMahon is
a big dude.
He's a big dude, but he's built like CM Punk in a lot of ways. He's not
true.
He's not buff. He's so he's cut. He's defined. He's just not a bodybuilder type dude, but he's a badass and martial arts and all that stuff. It looks really cool. And him and Pentagon Jr. could tell a really great story. I think I'm really looking forward to that. But unfortunately, I just think that's what's plagued him is his size, and Vince was never a fan of that. And I think that's carried over to Triple H a little bit, but in a lot of ways, I think Triple H is going to give him a push. He let's be honest, when it was prime Triple H NXT, Aleister Black was the head of that. And who could forget all those, memorable matches he had in NXT. So I think Aleister Black is going to be a future champion for sure. You're going to see him do a lot of programs.
How Tony Khan never maximized him into something bigger will always blow me away.
Does that really surprise you?
No, I mean,
he had MJF, the hottest fucking guy in wrestling, and
now he's got him playing grab ass with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley and MVP.
I mean, he shit the bed.
I mean, I thought the House of Black stuff that he was doing was really damn good.
That fucking mask he would come out with, I'll never forget his debut. I thought it was the coolest fucking debut in AEW history besides Sting.
And they did absolutely nothing with him. He would go and you wouldn't see him for fucking months at a time, basically.
Yeah.
I hope they do something with him. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
So he definitely deserves it. Well, let's get into the main topic of the night tonight, and that is going to be WCW Slamboree 2000, Arquette versus Jarrett triple cage match. So let's have a discussion on this, and I see everybody's comments. I've seen them. I'm trying to put them up as they come. So chime in the audience as well. But David Arquette winning the world title. They put the belt on him in a shocking move. What say you about this? Was it a bad idea or a good idea? What do you think?
That they did this with David Arquette?
Yeah, putting a belt on him.
It's hard because DDP at the time was bringing in all his celebrity connects and stuff like that for a rub and trying to get WCW exposure in any way they could. Some of them were really bad flops and some of them were successful. The Jay Leno, the Karl Malone storylines, those were great. You got Dennis Rodman thrown in there. They had a lot of appeal. So they thought this was going to be a knockout of the park, easy layup for them. They get a A-lister Hollywood star to be a WCW champion. On paper, it sounds good, right? You get all the eyes of the people that don't watch wrestling usually. And you have an A-lister starring in a WCW film that they spent a lot of money on to make. So, I don't know. I think on paper, when you look at it and what they were going through, it made sense. It didn't play out that way, man. It really didn't. They really insulted the WCW fans. They insulted the lineage of the championship. And after that, that's when you really started seeing people tune out.
Yeah, it's a good debate. I mean, they got a lot of mainstream attention from it. It got, I think, published in like the USA Today or something like that in one of the sections on there. So it got some attention for sure. But you don't give the fucking guy the world champion. Do what you did, like what you did with Jay Leno and Dennis Rodman and all those guys. You bring him into a tag match or some shit like
DDP that. Have the guy that he's with win the fucking title.
Yeah.
You don't put it on the fucking nerd that's coming in there playing wrestling, Could you imagine if Roddy Piper was involved in that scenario? He'd have fucking drove that dude's head into the mat. I mean, he just...
Rewind brings up a great point. It was actually Tony Schiavone's idea. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
They were in a production meeting and they were discussing ideas for, the celebrities and him coming in. And Tony Schiavone was notoriously the one.
So Tony fucking Schiavone killed WCW. I can see it now.
He jokes about it too, that he can say people blame everybody else. They should blame Tony Schiavone. They should blame me, I guess, because he was in a production meeting and they were trying to figure out something to do with Arquette, and how they were going to do it in this match. Where he ended up winning the title, and Tony Schiavone just spitballed the idea. He's like,
why don't
you just put the belt on him? Like, give him the belt. He's like, get some attention. And he had said basically that it was him just kind of being coy and funny, and he wasn't really that like over the top on the idea. He just spitballed an idea, and then they loved it and they ran with the shit, man, and they put him as the champion after that.
I will encourage all of you to go watch the David Arquette documentary. He has come a very long way trying to earn the respect of the wrestling fans and stuff like that, and earn his way back, to good standing. Because after that, man, I don't know if you noticed, but David Arquette's career kind of took a falling off after that too.
Huge.
So it wasn't just WCW that hurt from this. David Arquette's career tanked too.
I mean, he was in all the Scream franchises and stuff, which were big money makers. He was married to Courtney Cox at the time as well, who was one of the biggest stars in the world with Friends. People forget, the reach that Friends had. So this guy had a lot of mainstream appeal to him. So I can see why they want to bring him in. But to put the fucking belt on him is just, a head scratcher to me. It showed you how lazy their booking was. And Sean says it here. Celebrities killed WCW along with horrible storylines because they put such shitty storylines together like this right here. So it might have got you the attention you needed, but is all publicity good publicity? No, it's not.
No.
And they got a lot of publicity for it. So for wrestling fans, I think they thought a lot of people wouldn't turn it off even more at that point, and they did. So Arquette had won the belt on April 26, 2000. He won it during a match of Thunder, the WCW show that was on Thursdays. He beat Eric Bischoff during a tag match where the person who got the pin would determine the title winner. So they would become the WCW champ. I always hated these ones, to be honest with you, when they would do that.
Right.
It was just corny as hell. So he pins Bischoff and wins the belt. Crazy enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so stupid. Then it ended up being a double cross, and you lose track in the storyline when you go back and you try to keep track of it. It was so stupid. It was the worst.
Rewind says WCW was a dumpster fire in 2000, and we were still talking about it. So payoff, good or bad, we were still talking about it. You're right.
Very true. I mean, you look at it and you think, God damn, they knocked it out of the park with the NWO, and for so long they beat WWE, and nobody beat Vince McMahon. So how do you go from that, a guy who beat the U.S. fucking government, you defeated him for 82 weeks, to tank so badly?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Boy, they fell fast, man, at this point. Dude. The movie.
Or was it 83 weeks? 83 weeks or
83 weeks, yeah. 83 weeks.
Excuse me.
The just tanking of WCW, just the trajectory of them falling into the abyss is just, it's insane to think how profitable they were for those 3 years in 96 to 98. And then they get to this point. And
when you were a kid and you watched the NWO and every week you saw Nitro with Hulk Hogan out there with the WCW title and him and Eazy-E in the ring, and you see Eric Bischoff on a stretched out chopper saying, it ain't easy being king. Would you ever have thought that you would see the downfall as hard as it was of WCW?
It was must watch as a kid. That's why WCW always holds a special place to me, but we've watched it for years through the years, and we go back and we check it out, and we're honest. And the nostalgia of it, when you go back and watch it, it's not what you remember it as, because there's some really shitty stuff on there.
There's some really bad stuff too.
Yeah. Some of the shows are really hard to go through. Me and you covered like a lot from 96 to 97, and then me and Chris did, me and Chris did a lot from 96 to 98. I think we were where we kind of left off at. And there was some shows that we'd watch it, me and you in the early years, and then me and Chris later on, that we would watch the thing and we would be texting each other and be like, I don't know how much more I can take of this shit. Like, it's fucking bad.
It's that bad. Yeah.
We called it a few times in the middle, and we're like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. This is terrible. And then the next week you'd have this show that looks awful on paper and it's a banger of a card and you're hooked on it again. And they'd have a good stretch then. But it's not what I remember. I thought it was must see every week. And then when I look back at it, we go back and we watch it. It's really not. But it was exciting at the time. The NWO was so fucking cool. And it was something you loved. Eric Bischoff made it cool to be to look at heels. Hogan made it cool to be a heel. The coolest of cool heels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall.
I went to school every week with my NWO shirt on.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, how cool were the Kevin Nashes and the Scott Halls and the Hollywood Hogans and all them?
And Sting.
Yeah. Sting, the vigilante that's chasing him down forever, that all you want to see is these bastards get their comeuppance, but you love these bastards that you're rooting for every week. You love these heels, but Sting makes you want to see them get it because they're everything that even if you're liking them, you still hate about them too. And you want to see them get it from the hero, you know, and then they fuck that up.
Yep.
They really fuck up probably the biggest storyline in WCW history.
They could never capitalize. That was the problem. They had great ideas, but they could never capitalize on them. And that's even with their Starrcade pay-per-view. They always tried to make it like WrestleMania. It never was that. Never was that.
It wasn't to me. I always thought their biggest pay-per-view year was Halloween Havoc.
Me too. Halloween Havoc was the coolest to me. I loved Spring Stampede.
Yeah.
I loved Super Brawl. I loved World War III. I thought those were great ideas where you'd have the ring filled up with 3 different rings and stuff like that. That was a really cool way of doing the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So
it's still one of those eras though. Like we should go back and watch the Nitro sporadically and start sprinkling them in again where we kind of left off. But
sure.
I kind of miss it sometimes when I watch it, even if it was bad, because it's just the production value of it and the stories that you see and the things you remember from it. As bad as
the feeling as a kid of what it was,
I go back to being a 14 or 15 or 16-year-old kid all the time when I watch it. It brings me back 40 years or not 40, 30 fucking years.
Watching Raw does the same thing for me, man.
Yeah.
The old episodes of Raw. I never get into the SmackDown ones too much. It's funny. I always watch up to that point where they start Thursday Night SmackDown and then I just stop and I go back.
That's where you tap out on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. Rewind says WCW beat WWF with a stolen idea of NWO Japan. They can never come out with their own ideas that paid off or make new stars beside Goldberg. Good points. Their death was always around the corner. That is a good point too. They never made profit until that 96 time frame and then turned to incredible profit for those few years. But let's not forget, like they were literally on, borrowed time so many times. If Ted Turner wasn't so rich and involved in the process, there is no way in shit that they would have stayed put that long because he was dumping money into losing entity and was losing millions every year on it. Yep. So very good point about that. Lorraine said people talk about how bad WCW was with their crap, but how much more crap they have in the WWF. Yet WWE is the greatest. Yeah, well, that's a good point too. They had a lot of shit on the WWE channels too.
Yeah,
tons of it. You're always gonna have it in wrestling.
Yeah, I'll give you one right off the bat. Brawl for All.
Oh, god awful. Awful. There's another one we can go back and watch one day if we really want to be assess this. Was it that bad? We'll watch some Brawl for All stuff. You literally killed poor Bart Gunn's career by letting him get knocked out by Butterbean.
Yeah. Bodacious Bart.
WCW had 2 of the greatest factions all time with the Horsemen and the NWO. Absolutely. Starrcade 96, head and shoulders better than 97. 97 is one of the biggest misses in wrestling history.
If not the biggest.
Yeah. You had the biggest storyline up until that point, probably.
And to have the hottest person in wrestling, the free agent, Bret the Hitman Hart, coming off the heels of the biggest controversial situation, being the screw job, and you didn't capitalize on that, and you made him the fucking referee to screw. Like I just,
and it made no sense too. The whole thing,
Christ.
The whole ending, like
his payback was being the asshole that fucking screwed him. Like
there was no controversy in it too, or there was because Sting was clearly pinned,
right?
And people are like, did he really just get pinned? I think it was a roll up or something like that.
Yeah,
like did he really just get pinned on that? And like the crowd goes like just quiet, and then they try to sell it that it was the referee screwing him, and then Brett's coming. It was so fucking poorly done.
Yeah,
it just and Bret Hart can count the 3 for Sting to win, and then they have to go back the next night and backtrack.
How do you not bring Bret Hart in and have him go against Sting, or bring Bret Hart in and have him go against Ric Flair in a good way, not the way that they did it?
Mm-hmm.
You make him a special guest fucking referee his first go out, like,
or let's let Bret fucking be Bret and tell what he always wants to tell. If you really want to keep the belt on, if you want to keep the belt on Hogan, Bret has that heat with Hogan all the way back to WrestleMania 9 and has said it through the years.
Maybe we could do that for a show in the future too, where we have people book Bret Hart and how they would have done it.
It's a good one to rebook it. I like that idea, actually. Rebook Bret Hart and WCW. That might be a topic for a couple weeks. I like that.
Yeah.
But you had Bret Hart, man, and that's what you bring him in for. Like, you could have done so much more with him. There was that story with Hogan that they should have done, you know. Bret could have been the good guy coming in and fighting back against the injustices of the NWO. Screw Sting over at a 97 if you don't want Sting to have the belt. Screw him over some way hard and have the odds completely stacked against him finally. And let Bret come in and help him out and be a part to finally get his comeuppance against Hogan.
I think Bret and Sting would have been cool to go against the Outsiders and kind of, you know.
Shit, yeah, man.
You never know.
The master of the sharpshooter and the master of the scorpion deathlock, you know.
Yep.
And I know they had a couple of matches between them that were just shitty.
Yeah.
And just didn't do it. I think it was when it was Ketchup Face Sting, you know, when he was in the Wolfpack or something. Like
I'll tell you, one of my favorite WCW matches of all time was Bret and Benoit when they did the Owen tribute.
Yeah.
That was one of the best matches of all time that I've ever seen.
They tore the house down for that.
They did.
Yeah. And kudos to both of them. So,
yeah.
Jude, what's up, man? He says,
Jude, you're here, buddy.
Happened if Bischoff would have gone out and grabbed Heyman for WCW? I don't think it would have made a difference.
Oof. That's a tough one, Jude. I think Paul Heyman is more creative now than he was then.
Agreed.
Be real with you.
Agreed.
I think his light bulb went off later on.
He didn't really bring anything to the table at this point in time. I don't think, you know, ECW was a financial mess and, you know, failed and all that stuff. And I think
Paul Heyman's a creative genius. He is not a businessman.
Correct. And I think they both have such strong personalities. I don't think it would match very well together as a creative entity in some sorts or a business entity together. I just think they would butt heads too much.
Absolutely.
Rabbi Moses. Hello, Rabbi Moses.
Yeah,
says, I was never an NWO fan. Everyone was NWO. See, I wasn't. I loved it. But some people didn't like
Moses. We've got a guy in here that thinks Taz is the GOAT. So welcome.
There you go. We respect everybody's opinions.
Yeah.
I think the Dangerous Alliance in WCW was very underestimated and was great faction. I agree, Lance. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Bischoff taking over WCW with a Eric Bischoff versus Paul Heyman feud and some WCW versus ECW talent signed to WCW? Would have been awesome.
Yeah, they tried doing that in WWF, and it kind of flopped a little bit.
The way it's the people that they had to. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
Bret Hart should have been straight hitman shooter in WCW, taking apart the NWO little by little bit. I like that.
I agree.
Oh, Jesus. There's going to be a fucking fight. Taz was a joke.
Oh, Rabbi. Come on.
Oh, boy.
Come on, Rabbi.
Oh, boy. He might have opened a can of worms on that one. Rewind might
come Dandy is a jam-up guy.
He's a great guy, that El Dandy. You know? He's a good dude.
He's like Americano.
Talk about a star right there. El Grande Americano.
Screwed Pentagon Jr. over.
Fuck. El Grande's the man.
Yeah, he is.
I would have had Bret Hart be a counterpart to WWF Stone Cold Steve Austin in WCW, where Bret takes on the powers that be, playing off the screw job, being anti-authority, anti-corporate, WCW raising hell. I like that idea as well.
Yeah, I just don't think Bret was into that because he was kind of anti-Austin, you know, anti-attitude era. So I don't know if he would have done it.
Yeah, interesting ideas, guys. We can touch on the Bret stuff another day for sure. If you want to watch with us, we're going to check out Slamboree 2000. It's season 8, episode 1 on Peacock, and the timestamp we're going to be at is 2 hours and 27 minutes and 23 seconds is where we're going to be at for the time frame. So once again, Slamboree 2000. 2 hours, 27 minutes, 23 seconds, and it's going to be the triple cage match between David Arquette and
Are you excited, dude? I'm pretty excited.
I guess I don't remember anything about this except the one part, and this triple cage is goofy as hell if I remember.
It is.
So that's about all I remember. I don't remember this match at all. I don't even think I've ever seen it all the way through, so this is a first for me. So let's see. Is it going to be as bad as we thought it was? I think probably yes, but let's be the determining factor at the end.
Non-biased here, non-biased.
Watch Americano be unmasked, and it's little Jimmy.
I hope so.
Little Jimmy, what a guy. All right, guys. Slamboree 2000, 2 hours, 27 minutes, 23 seconds. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit play.
Okay, we are back in the arena. Michael Buffer stands in the center of the ring.
Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer. You know, Michael Buffer and Bruce Buffer had no idea they were brothers until they saw each other on TV.
Isn't that interesting?
That's so
and they probably have the two most iconic voices in announcing for like the ring announcements like this. Who do you think's got a better one, Michael or Bruce?
Oh, dude. Bruce. I got to go Bruce.
I got to go Michael.
You're biased because it's WCW.
No, I'm not. I like Bruce too. No, I like Bruce too, but Michael Buffer is the greatest. He doesn't compare. Rabbi Moses agrees with me. Michael Buffer is the GOAT. What do you guys think in the audience? Who's better, Michael or Bruce Buffer?
I'm biased because of the UFC.
Yeah, I have no bias towards it. Michael Buffer's voice is just incredible. Bruce is great too, though.
Yeah.
Think about making the amount of money he made by just coming out and saying, let's get ready to rumble.
Fucking wild. Iconic.
That cage is an interesting structure, would you say?
They should have just did a double cage. They didn't have to do the fucking triple cage. They should have did a double.
Can you imagine how much money was wasted to construct this piece of shit?
I'll tell you. That looks like garbage.
What is this music? Are you thinking the fucking Nitro Girls come out and start dancing or some shit to it?
No, at this point, they got rid of the Nitro Girls, I think.
Oh, okay, so they're gone at this point?
Yeah.
Boy, what a glaring change when you see the arenas they were selling out and to see where they're at for this.
God, look at that piece of shit.
Not saying the Kemper Arena is tiny, but it's not what they were used to for some of their bigger pay-per-views. And Slamboree was always a pretty big pay-per-view for them.
All I'm saying is if WCW or if WWE or AEW pulls out the triple cage, we know that their company's in the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, that fantasy booking for Brett would be a fun one, Lawrence. We'll have to do that. It was a good idea, Richie. Michael Buffer, Lawrence says, let's get ready to rumble. Rand's going Michael Buffer as well. So he's doing that as well. Rabbi Moses' triple cage idea was stolen from World Class Championship Wrestling. So, all right. Thank you, Rabbi. It's an interesting structure. They
didn't even strap the belt like they normally do in like a ladder match. They just fucking have it hanging there. Like,
just dangling.
Just dangling. What if that shit fell off?
Was this distasteful to you being in the same arena a year before Owen Hart dies in this arena in that terrible accident?
Because WCW did distasteful shit during this time. They made fun of JR with his face. They did all kinds of shit just for ratings, and it was horrible. I think this was just as bad when they had Sting fall off the back on fire. It was just all distasteful in this. That's just my opinion. If you don't think
this cage literally goes to the top of the arena of almost.
Yeah.
That's how high it is, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, like I'm not a sensitive flower in any way, and I'm not one of these, woke fuckers and, snowflakes that's got to cry about everything. People make mistakes, I accept it. This is a very, you have to be very aware of what you're doing with this to do it. It's almost intentional, it seems, that they're doing it.
In the arena that they're doing it.
In the arena that Owen Hart died a year before. And here's one of his best friends in the whole world that's in the main event in this match, Jeff Jarrett.
How'd you feel about Jeff Jarrett in this time frame?
Oh, I hated him. He was a fucking channel changer to me. He was terrible. I enjoy listening to his podcast sometimes. I'll say that. I do enjoy listening to his podcast, and I like him a lot more when I listen to him talk. But I was never a Jeff Jarrett fan. I never thought it was fun. It wasn't anything that I was into, so that's just me. I thought he was terrible. I thought he was being shoved down our throats, and I did not see main event in this guy ever.
Vince Russo was the one that did do that.
Yeah, he was his best friend or something at the time.
Yep.
You know, they were really good buddies, and Vince shoved him down everybody's throats, and I don't think it paid off. So I just don't think it did. It did not pay off in any way.
All of it was garbage.
He's a high mid-carder to me, but he's never been a main event guy. Even he did it to, you know, he always booked himself over. And
look at this shit. Oh my
TNA.
God.
What is this crap?
This is that bad. Oh my God.
Look at his fucking outfit.
Dude, it's already a wrap for this show. This is that
What
bad.
the fuck is this outfit Arquette is wearing?
Fucking bad, dude.
Wow.
This is that fucking bad, guys.
Is he wearing a fucking choker?
This is that fucking bad, John.
Is he wearing like a
collar? That fucking bad, dude. It's like they cut Ric Flair's robe up into pieces and said, here the fuck you go.
Double J is better than Taz. I don't know about
What
that,
the
Rabbi.
Rabbi, come on.
Come on, that's blasphemy. Rewind. Chime back in here. At the time, I wasn't into. I think Rabbi Moses is rewind. I think he might be on a different account here.
Dude, what?
At the time, I wasn't that into Jarrett, but I love him these days. I think he's underestimated as a talent.
The fact that DDP was in this is so sad, dude. Like, come on.
And he's the one taking a back seat to him, and it's kind of like his manager here or something, right?
God, this is that bad, dude.
Okay, sorry, this is a three-way match. Sorry,
DDP's
this is a three-way match.
Good.
You gotta feel for DDP here.
God, he's really trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit here.
Boy, Arquette's outfit that he's coming out in is just dreadful. I know what they're trying to do here, though, because he's trying to look like Elvis, because he did that movie 3,000 Miles to Graceland at this time.
This is such a bad idea.
The good news is the match isn't that long.
He got in the ring just now. He got in like a chick.
Did he bar your fashion style here with that cape?
Come on.
Mark Madden on commentary. Are you a fan?
No.
Oh, that fat fuck is annoying.
That was dog shit.
He's fucking annoying.
Is that turd still alive even?
Rewind says, what are you talking about, Richie? You had the same outfit on when you came to my house the other day for that massage.
Shh.
Arquette bought his outfit from the Goodwill. He probably did.
Yeah.
The best thing Vince Russo did for WCW was giving underestimated talent like Jarrett, Booker T, DDP a run at the top.
I disagree. Big time.
He put too many people on the show. That's the biggest mistake that I think he made, too, is that he tried to book too much.
That brought WCW to the dance to begin with, and he got rid of all the older talent because they were old, which was a big mistake.
And he would cram so much into an episode in such a short period of time. He put so much talent on it that nobody could possibly consume. Yeah. Is Arquette wearing Converses?
Oh,
did I just see him wearing a pair of Chucks?
I couldn't tell you, but this is just... I'm going to tell you, this is that bad.
He's dancing around on the outside a minute ago, though. He's ready to get in there. Come on, Arquette. Let's see what you got.
DDP with the rock bottom.
The crowd is so mild to this. He's going to the top rope. All right, let's see.
What in the fuck is he doing?
He's grabbing the top of the cage and then went for the Superfly splash. He didn't sell that very good.
What are those lightning bolts on his fucking... That cage isn't even mounted, dude.
No, it's not. Look at it swinging back and forth.
Good Lord.
How did they get to the top of this?
They climb it.
Do they got to climb it on the outside, or is it from the inside?
So. I think they climb from the outside, and it's ladders.
So Jarrett was telling a story about this, that one of the things they had planned for him was they built a trap door into this up when they would climb, and they had tested it out multiple times, and people were getting fucked up on this thing. And Jarrett saw how they wanted him to go through the cage, and he's like, I am absolutely not fucking doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, like he's like, I'm absolutely not doing this. And
like they wanted him to go through it like Mick Foley and fall through.
Pretty much, yeah.
shot.
It was like their version of it. And he just said the way that they had it concocted and designed, he's like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to get fucking killed. And I think Paige goes at some point through this or something like that.
No, that was in the movie.
Or was it just in the movie that they did that?
It was just in the movie.
Okay.
I know Chris Canyon gets thrown off the top of it.
Yeah, I know that from this one. That's the one thing I do remember. But
that's when they do the positively Paige shit.
Yeah, they wanted, I think, him to do that spot then from the movie in this match. So, and he did not want to do it.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he just did not see the safety in it, and he said, "No way, no way, not happening. I'm not doing it."
Especially in the same arena that Owen Hart passed. I mean, just total distasteful shit.
He's wearing Crocs.
Those are definitely Converse.
Why do I think Jeremy is Mr. Rabbi Moses? And Rand says, yes, they are lightning bolts. Can you imagine paying for a ticket in this? And this is like it's like the fence here goes right up to it. So where the crowd just basically is hanging on top of this fence. There's no way they couldn't pull these loose doors down at any point in time, too, because, like you said, they're not even mounted down on this thing.
Oh, there's a hole in the fucking
there it is.
They have to climb up.
It's a trap door.
Oh, my God.
So he has to align this perfectly.
It's not even – look at the hole. It's not even to where you can get to the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And the ladder goes right up to where the hole is. So, can you imagine how hard that's got to be to climb through?
Jarrett's already busted open.
Yeah. He's got color. It's a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
How much more could we see Hogan and Flair as WCW champions, where WWF created Stone Cold, The Rock? WCW started getting behind the likes of Booker T under Russo as Booker. Was one of the younger talent people wanted to see get their shot. Unfortunately, WCW was never able to reach the success of creating new draw cards like WWF did with the likes of The Rock. Yeah, they had a lot of talent there, but it definitely, they
utilized the wrong talent.
Yep. The cage is playing Tetris. Yeah, it sure is, Rabbi.
You can't even get through that fucking hole. It's not even lined up right.
Can you imagine being the announcers on this and trying to sell this fucking garbage?
Bad. What were they thinking?
Who else is on? Is that Scott Hudson on commentary here too?
Yeah, Scott Hudson.
I was never a fan. Were you?
He's better than fucking Mark Madden.
Anybody's better than Mark Madden. That guy's horrible. That is a little tiny trap door, man.
Yeah, it is. I always like that power bomb DDP did, the sit down.
Yeah, the sit down one. I don't recall where Jarrett got busted open. Anything that they did so big to bust him open. Do you?
No, I think it was done by punches. To be honest with you, it wasn't a weapon shot or anything.
He just got color
DDP
just to get color.
Is literally having to lay this fucking ladder up in the corner. Is that how he gets up, or?
I don't remember. Because, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen this all the way through.
Well,
what do you think he's thinking at this moment? Like both of these guys, Jarrett too. They're both trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah, and it ain't working.
Both these guys been in the business for a long time, and they're probably thinking to themselves, "What in the fuck did I get myself into?" How did we
get to this point with this big of a company, with this big of a budget, and here the fuck we are?
A few years before, we're doing Sting and Hogan at 97 Starrcade, man, with the biggest pay-per-view buys of all time.
Now we're doing David Arquette versus fucking
2.5 years later. We got a triple cage three-way match.
A David glorified fucking this is horrible. Glorified Hell in the Cell.
Is that like a piece of wood or a table up on the top up there?
That's a table.
Can somebody please get through this thing and open the fucking cage up, please?
This is so bad. He barely touched the fucking ladder there.
He's falling. Think about ladder matches, the great ones with Razor Ramon and fucking Shawn Michaels. And then you got, the TLC matches. And then you get this shit.
God, he barely touched him and he falls off the fucking ladder like he was thrown.
I just don't understand how they're going to get through the cage on that little door. All right, Jarrett got kicked to the outside.
This is so bad.
Arquette's just standing on the outside doing absolutely nothing.
I almost feel bad that we had our fucking listeners even go back and watch
No,
this shit.
this is fun to shit on.
Dude.
It's only
This
a
is that
15-minute
bad.
long match.
He pushes the trapdoor.
There it is. He pushes it open. Now he's got to climb through that motherfucker. That's the purpose of this show. Was it that bad?
It's that bad.
Last week we were pretty much in agreement. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was. This
Right.
week,
It's pretty bad.
is this like it's like one of
Is that
like
a pipe wrench?
Yeah, it's a pipe wrench. No, bolt cutters.
Okay, I thought it was.
So they got bolt cutters that he's got to cut this other second cage to, and they hang chairs and trash cans and trash can lids here. They got a table, so they have a hardcore matchup. Is that a bedpan or a kitchen sink?
I'm pretty sure it's kitchen sink.
That's a kitchen sink.
So they brought everything, including the kitchen sink.
How fucking corny. And then the camera on it is like it's like the equivalent of looking at a fucking Ring camera.
Yeah.
David Arquette has so much power in his hands. One little jab, he cuts up Double J, Rewind says.
Where the fuck is David Arquette at?
I don't know what he's doing these days.
No, I mean
he's hiding in
this
the bottom.
match, where he's hiding in the bottom.
He's hiding in the bottom somewhere. He's not doing anything.
Look at the four. Do they have 4 fucking guitars up there?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my god.
Vampiro and WCW could have taken his coffin matches more to another level, like Undertaker and WWF. Yeah, they just didn't book it right, Lawrence.
If they wouldn't have done the corny shit they did with him, he would have been a lot bigger than he was.
Rewind says they were just thinking about their paycheck and a cold beer after the show. Absolutely, they're just trying to get through this. Lawrence says WCW 2000.
David Arquette.
Can you dig it, sucker? In the back, Piper's wondering if the paycheck is worth still sticking out the night.
Poor Piper.
Oh,
he's got blood all over him. Oh shit!
Jesus!
That whole side just fell out,
bro.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they break the wall off.
Look at the zip ties. Look at the
bro. Look at where
dude.
it sits though when they lay. You know, like they're literally on the edge of this cage right here, with the way that went over. They almost rolled off the top of the fucking cage, bro.
Good lord!
Wow,
what a train wreck. They fucking zip tied that shit. That was funny.
Here's Arquette. He's sitting down there cheering his buddy on. They're gonna put a table on this
fucking table through a chain link fence.
That's flimsy as hell.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm good. How does that table stand?
I don't know how. That's why it's bouncing up and down. Is he gonna put him through it?
Oh god.
Oh, that's a table shot, all right.
Yeah. Thank God that's over.
Can you imagine Shivani thinking he's like, I've called the greats like Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and Sting and Hogan.
If I were Tony Schiavone after this and I fucking recommended David Arquette winning, I would be disappearing like Homer Simpson into the fucking bushes. Straight up.
Oh, God. Now they're going to go to the top, it looks like. It's a good thing these two aren't afraid of heights, right?
TDP's like, dude, we got to go home.
Jesus! He hit him with the chair, and Jeff almost flied off the top.
Yep.
Dude, this cage is dangerous, man.
Yeah, it is.
You know what the scariest part about this is? When the difference between the Hell in the Cell cage and the other one was, it's not jammed on it. The fans are literally right below them.
Right.
If they make a misstep, they're going into the crowd.
Going over. Yeah.
And they are going to hurt somebody really bad.
They'll kill somebody at that height.
Because they're probably, 20 feet up right now?
At least. They're on the second level at this point, right?
Yeah, they're on the second level right now. So they got to be 20 feet up.
Yeah, at least.
Jeremy, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Jeremy, what's up?
That's got to be Canyon. Who's better than Canyon?
Everybody.
Nobody.
Everybody.
Don't you insult Canyon like that.
Mortis is a different story.
Arquette's climbing up now. He's getting involved.
He can't even keep the trap door open.
Yeah.
His little scrawny ass.
He's not even strong enough to push that thing up.
What a fanboy he looks like here.
If they should have thrown anybody off the top from here, it should have been Arquette.
God.
Oh boy, now Arquette's going up to the top. And
Mike Awesome.
Where did Mike Awesome just come from?
You know, my thing is they really tried with him. They tried to make Mike Awesome something big, and then they turned him into the Fat Chick Thriller and everything else.
That 70s guy.
God. No way. Tony Schiavone's trying to sell this thing. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
He's at the top of the guitar room.
The guitar room.
He could literally grab this belt anytime he wants, but he's not doing it.
They could have done kendo sticks up at the top. They could have did nightsticks. They could have did chairs.
Nope.
They picked 4 fucking guitars.
I love Mike Awesome too, Lawrence. I think he's awesome.
Hey, I got no problem with him. I'm just saying they severely misused him. And no, OSHA would not approve that rewind.
Yeah. All of Arquette's payoffs went to charity. That's cool about that. That's nice to hear that Arquette did that, Rep High. He seems like a good dude, though, in real life. From that documentary that they did on him, he seems like a good dude.
I don't think that fucking guitar shot was supposed to happen. DDP literally walked through it.
That cage is so small on the top, too, so it's hilarious to see that because they can't even swing the guitar all the way. So Arquette is protecting the top right here with the guitar.
This is so bad. Is Canyon up there yet?
No, he's not up there yet.
Ass?
He's going to come out of nowhere. Mike Awesome's laid out on the top of the first cage.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. David Arquette could have grabbed the belt about 90 times here. We got another ring camera from the top rope here.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a few like Goldberg or Lesnar between Mike Awesome and Goldberg in WCW. Mike Awesome was a killer, man.
He was. Great look.
Mike Awesome in WCW's career killer role where he smashed everybody. Rewind says, how do you pitch something like this? Rewind, I don't know how anybody pitches this shit.
They should have had DDP get up there and him hit it. They waited until he fucking...
And here's Mark Mann selling it. Way to go, champ, as Arquette just turned on DDP.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the big hugging moment now. The chosen one is getting his title.
Oh,
and he's
great.
won.
Yay.
Listen to fucking Mark Madden going off. Jesus.
It was really that bad.
Where's Canyon coming up?
I thought he got... Oh, you know what? It was on Nitro he got thrown off, I think.
Okay. No. Austin is fighting with who now? Is that Canyon or is that DDP?
That's DDP. Oh, there's Canyon.
There's Canyon coming out to save his buddy. There it is.
Okay. Now, remember, Owen Hart died in this arena, and look what they did.
Oh!
Yeah. Just not a good idea.
It's the worstly gimmicked stage, too, if you look at it. It's a crash mat, and they had stepped on it throughout the night here, from what I had heard.
And
they had fallen through this a couple times, the spot where they threw him. Oh, Tony Schiavone's selling it good. He broke his back.
Yep.
He broke his back.
God.
Oh, Jesus.
Look at him. He looks... God.
It's so bad, the shot there. Like the carpet from where it's at is all scrunched up and stuff from where the spot was. That
They couldn't even hide it.
So was it that bad, Richie? As bad as you remember it?
It was that bad, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this was a fart in the wind. Should have never happened. Tony Schiavone, shame on you. We'll give you a slap on the wrist. That match was bad. It didn't hold up even now. Like rethinking it, even on paper, it sounds horrible. They should have never done this.
Yeah. Some things should be better left
in an idea.
Yeah, and this is one of them. So,
yes.
Yeah, this is
Triple
one of
Cage
them.
was not a good idea.
No, and it did not work out here very well for them either. Remember the chair fight between Jarrett and Mike Awesome in WCW? I don't remember that. Do you?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Awesome versus Tanaka match in ECW was insane. Yeah, Jeremy says went over like a fart in church. That's true.
Yep.
What do you want to do next week, man? What's the topic you want to do next week?
I don't know if you're down to do this or not, but let's see. What was the other idea that I gave you earlier this week? Remember?
The Bret Hart one, rebooking his WCW run?
Rebooking his WCW run. Yeah, you want to do that?
We can do that. And then you gave me another idea. I forgot exactly what the specifics on it, though.
Yeah, I can't remember what I said to you, but it was good.
We'll have to go back and look through the messages.
Rebooking it or something. Like we were rebooking stuff. Yeah.
Wait, let's rebook Brett's WCW run next week.
I think that's a good idea.
We haven't done a booking episode in a long fantasy booking episode in a long while. I think that's a good one.
We'll do that, and we'll have a vote at the end. Whoever gets the highest vote for the viewers, they get a Sabu 8x10 sign.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good little prize there. And we'll open up the lines next week and bring you guys on, whoever wants to come on and present your ideas for Bret Hart too. So we'll open up everything next week to bring you on if you want to have your own ideas. So that'll be the topic next week. Rebooking Bret Hart and WCW. What would you have done different? Where would you have gone with it? Let's see what your ideas are. I think there will be a lot of different ones because it's probably one of the greatest misses in history of WCW was Bret Hart coming over. So I think it'll be a good topic. Any closing thoughts, my friend, before we get on?
I appreciate you all coming out and watching the show each and every week, giving us your time. We enjoy you guys so much, and this is a solid group, and I have so much fun with you guys. I thank you. Keep your heads up. We're going to have a lot better content on the way, a lot better ideas. I don't know if y'all are card fans in here. We even have like a card break idea that we're going to do if y'all are into wrestling cards or UFC cards or whatever. We might get into that somewhere down the road. We're going to be utilizing TikTok here in the future. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. So
Rewind's going to break out the chalkboard next week.
The chalkboard?
Yes. Huh? I like when he brings out the chalkboard.
Me too.
That's when you know he's really thought out some devious.
I can't wait for Lawrence and picking, the different attires and all the details that he puts into things, man. It's crazy.
Go. I love it, man. It'll be a good time next week. All right, Jeremy says no, don't go. Sorry, Jeremy, we're gonna cut a little shorter than earlier tonight because I got to be up super early for work tomorrow, and so does Richie. So got to be on the road super early. So we'll cut a little bit earlier this week, but we'll make it up next week. We'll go the full probably 2 hours plus next week that we normally do every week. We'll
never know, man. We'll throw in a few surprise shows every now and then too. You never know. We might get a wild hair up our ass and do a show during the week. So
absolutely, I know that I could never do them on the weekends because of work stuff, and you know. Richie's got family commitments, too, as well on the weekends, and I'll have mine when I'm not working. So we'll try to throw a couple extra bonuses upcoming here. And I know there's times throughout the week where I'll just get bored on a night, or I know you will that we could get on. So
for sure,
no rewind stories. Don't worry, they'll come next time. We'll hear plenty of rewind stories from Rewind next time. Always the best ones. Rebook the new Bloodline storyline.
That would be cool.
All right. Well, it's going to be fun next week, guys. Come back. We'll rebook Bret Hart's WCW run, see what your thoughts are. For Richie, I'm John. We are out of here. Make sure you guys like and follow the stream if you're watching on Facebook. Make sure you like and follow the page. Same on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscription button. And please do so. Share it out. Spread the word. We're out here every Wednesday night having a good time. So come back with us. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your week. For Richie, I'm John. We're out of here. Good night, everybody.